Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session of the Curriculum Fair. I am joined by Danielle and Kathy from Lincoln Learning, who will be sharing more about Lincoln Learning's math and science today. Ladies, it is all yours. Go ahead.
Oh, hello, everyone. My name is Danielle Freeman, and I am the Director of Client Success here at Lincoln Learning Solutions. Joining me today is our Senior Manager of Sales, Kathy Sermonera. Thank you for taking the time and allowing us the opportunity to walk you through our math and science courses today. All right. I'm having some technical difficulties here. Hold on one second. Right. Lincoln Learning Solutions has supported schools for more than 20 years as a nonprofit organization based in Pennsylvania. We focus on helping schools provide flexible, innovative, and personalized learning experiences. Our award-winning accredited digital curriculum is designed to meet students where they are because learning isn't a one-size-fits-all. Today, Lincoln Learning is proud to partner with schools in 46 states and 16 countries. Lincoln Learning is committed to providing students with high quality learning resources. Our Cognia and WASC accreditations highlight this commitment and reflect our focus on meaningful learning experiences and ongoing improvement. So at this point, I'm going to pass things over to Kathy, and Kathy is going to speak a little bit more about our courses that are covered in our math subject areas and science.
All right, so we're going to start here with our mathematics. And so one of the key strengths here for our mathematics courses are those comprehensive standard alignments. So every course is built directly from those California mathematical state standards. So educators can feel confident knowing that students are learning exactly what they'll need at each grade level. We focus on that logical progression. We all know math, for me, is particularly can be challenging when the concepts kind of feel disconnected. So our team has intentionally organized the content in a way that it builds step by step. So kind of making that logical progression of content in a coherent and systematic manner. Another important piece is that student-centered design. And as we kind of go through our courses, you're going to see that the curriculum is thoughtfully sequenced with those instructionally rich learning activities, and then scaffolded with a lot of supports to meet students' needs and to meet students where they are. There are a lot of opportunities for practice, especially in our mathematics courses, so that students can be ready for that next step and be ready to move ahead. So again, the lessons are easy to follow, they're engaging, and they're providing a lot of multimodal pieces as well as a lot of opportunities for practice. As we go into, let's take a look at our science courses. So our science program, and one of the things that really sets us apart for the science courses, again, are those multiple pathways, especially at middle school levels too. We've created those integrated courses that give students the flexibility that allows students to meet kind of any of their instructional needs. Key and a cornerstone of our science courses are those real world application pieces. There's an emphasis on that so that we know that students aren't just learning those science concepts, but they are engaging in hands-on interactive labs or projects designed to challenge them in those critical thinking skills. And then another powerful component is our use of the NGSS aligned storylines. So again, this starts to teaching those concepts out of like the isolation of just the concept, but really making them more meaningful and connected to real world exploration and discovery. So we'll be excited to kind of show you what that looks like there. And it's time for the demo, right?
I can do the
Yes,
factor. Yeah. All right, perfect. So one of the things that I like most about our courses is regardless of the subject area or the grade level, they follow a consistent modular structure. So students will be very familiar if they are moving in and out of courses, they will know what to expect. All of our courses contain 6 modules. Within each module, there are 15 lessons. So you'll hear Kathy, once she dives into the demo, she'll showcase our ITs, and some examples of those are on the screen now. Each lesson will contain a variety of these different learning objects. Some of the objects are considered essential, while others are enhancements. The read it and or the teach it is the main instructional text of the lesson and is an essential part of the learning for students. To demonstrate mastery of the content taught in the read its or the teach its, students must submit all assessments within a course. So again, that consistent in every course, you'll see every five lessons, there'll be a checkpoint, which is a short auto-graded quiz to make sure and ensure that the students are truly understanding what they are learning. At the end of each module, there will be a mastery assessment that covers all of the learning objectives within that module. And then sprinkled without, students may find some upload assessments where, again, they have to upload something that they have handwritten or created, again, just to ensure mastery. Submission of all assessments is the only requirement for the successful completion of a course. So completing a show it, or apply it, or practice it is also important. These learning objects allow students to demonstrate their understanding of the content in a low stakes manner because these objects are not graded. The other learning objects that you'll find within a lesson, like the watch it, the play it, the reinforce it and extend it, are simply meant for supplemental learning. So I have two girls. I said this yesterday. One of them might spend a little bit more time on some of the watch its because she enjoys watching videos, while my other daughter would spend a lot of time on the play its because she's a gamer and she likes to play those games, right? So again, just reinforcing the skill or whatever concept they are learning. All right, so I think without further ado, I will hand things back over to Kathy for the demo.
Awesome. I'm going to stop sharing just because I do want to also share my sound when we get to our demo piece here. So let me just do that. All right, so let me just kind of share that here. Okay. So here you will find that we are in the Buzz Learning Management System as a student. And I'm going to head right now into our Science 2 course to really kind of walk you through some of those things, specifically those learning objects that Danielle had shared. So when you log in for your course as a student, you're going to see that we have this nice consistent design, as Danielle mentioned. We start with that course resources folder. And students are also welcomed by, what they last visited and what's coming up next, as well as a nice to-do list of things that they are upcoming activities that they will have to complete. And they'll always be able to see their progress throughout the course. But let's head into our course resources folder because it is a very helpful guide. And it's nice to kind of see what is available to our students and families in this course resources folder. So first thing you'll see here is a pacing guide. This is a great place to kind of get that bird's eye view of the course in its totality. So you'll see kind of that consistent structure that we have, that module structure, and then going into lessons. So kind of expecting that students would try to complete a lesson a day in order to stay on pace, as students can move, throughout the course how they please with pacing, but it's recommended a lesson a day really will be a great pace to keep students on track. I love the pacing guide because you're able as a parent to see kind of what's coming up next, where the assessments are, and what lessons are available there. As you'll see too, there is materials lists and materials by lesson. This in particular really helps me, materials by lesson helps me understand what's available for each lesson each day. And there's also a parent and teacher guide as well. And that kind of helps you kind of get started as a parent supporting a student within the course. Now, as Danielle mentioned, we have that very consistent design, that modular design that is available for all of our courses. And so if I open up Module 1, you'll see that we have the lesson structure right there for us. So when I go into Lesson 3, you'll see that we have a wide variety of those those building blocks that kind of build those lessons. And as Danielle mentioned, the Teach It and Read It are going to be those instructional components. I highly recommend students kind of incorporate either the Teach It or the Read It in their daily lesson, because that's really the bulk of the instruction that is going to happen there. For our K through 5 students, the Teach It is going to be a video version of the Read It. This is really meant to enhance that learning experience for our students, because our emerging readers are going to need that support. So you'll see as we play this video here that students are going to be able to hear somebody reading the content right aloud for them.
Hello, welcome to this lesson, Plant Parts. In this lesson, you will identify the parts of a plant. Hover over the tabs below to begin learning about parts of plants.
You can see here our teacher is going through and reading through this content for the students. It's an engaging way to have students kind of independently go through the content. And having that teacher voice and that teacher cadence is very helpful. I know my daughter, when she was in kindergarten, was using some of the Lincoln courses, and it was really nice for her independence-wise to be able to kind of go through a lesson and be able to independently listen to it and then navigate to the next learning object, the Read It, which is that same thing that we had just kind of listened to, but now she can independently explore it by kind of using any of the interactivity pieces here that are available. She could go through and, kind of engage with this content where she's hovering over, and it was really nice for her to see that. The Read Its are that instructional text and really have that key concepts all identified here within the Read It. You'll see that new words are going to be a text popper, so new vocabulary is easily identified. And the way that the team has created this content to make it engaging and ask those probing questions, especially in our science courses, and tie those back to real world pieces is definitely, a plus and exciting for our students. In addition, each one of these learning objects does contain our text help toolbar, and the text help toolbar is there to support our students. It is in text to speech. It's also a translator. So if you need something translated, it will be able to translate it and speak it in that language. There's also a dictionary tool, a screen mask, a wide variety of tools to really support students, all built right into the lesson. As we navigate to the next learning object, you'll see that this is going to be a Watch It. Lincoln Learning Solutions has a fantastic media team. So we've created these enriching Watch Its, these videos that are supporting the student. So as Danielle mentioned, the Watch It is going to be the supplemental piece. It's going to really enhance that lesson and provide another opportunity for students to make those connections. So with the Teach It and Read It being that instructional piece, now we're moving on to kind of that supplemental, that reinforcing the concepts. And this is where students can have some choice and what they are looking for. So Danielle mentioned her daughter might be really into the Watch It. So some students will navigate more towards this. So let's take a look at a Watch It here.
world is full of amazing plants. Although they may look very different, they have a lot in common. All plants have a life cycle. A plant's parts help it as it grows and changes during this cycle.
You can see, I also turned the closed captioning on for the videos. So, we do have closed captioning on our videos as well as alt text for any of our images that you might see. So really kind of making sure that the content is accessible for all students using our content in our platform. But the Watch It is really engaging, exciting, and fun. And then the next learning object happens to be a Play It. Again, this is another interactive piece that builds on that same concept. So if you're following along, we've listened to the content with our Teach It, we've read through it in the Read It, we've watched something, now we can play and, work with these parts of a plant. So we're really creating a lot of these learning opportunities for students to build on these skills in preparation for any exams that they are taking later on. As we kind of near the end of our lesson, you'll approach a Show It. The Show It is where students will demonstrate their understanding of that learning objective. So you'll see for this Show It, we do have a worksheet, and this is a nice example of some of the different types of activities students will do. We have activities where students are going to be working on the computer, doing some drag and drop and, playing the game or watching the video on the computer. But we also have opportunities for students to, step away, maybe use some of household items like this construction paper, glue, scissors. For this, kind of also working on those fine motor skills to support students. So they have this worksheet that they are going to be using, and they will need those materials like the scissors and glue and construction paper, and they are going to assemble their parts of a plant. So this is a great activity to take students kind of outside of the curriculum or outside of the computer and get to work on something that they can produce and show. So they will demonstrate their understanding of that learning objective. Because the Show Its are non-graded, really kind of there to support and in preparation for the exam, they also do come with an answer key that follows. So I always like to relate this to, the answers in the back of the book. When we would do those practice activities when we were in school, this is kind of that same thing. So the answer key will follow the Show It so that they can check their work and see where they are. So it's a really great way to kind of navigate that. So I'm going to back out of this lesson, and you kind of saw a nice sequence of how that lesson was laid out. And again, that consistent design from, our science course to our math course to our English language arts course, you'll see all of those Read Its and those same learning objects. Now, when it comes to assessments in our courses, you'll see that you're going to encounter about 3 different types of assessments. First, every 5 lessons, you will encounter a checkpoint assessment. A checkpoint assessment is going to be an auto-graded, quick assessment here. So it looks like we've already completed this assessment. So we can, but the student will be able to check their work and go ahead and kind of review how they have done. So the students will encounter a short amount of questions, maybe like 5 to 10 questions, and they will get automatic responses for them. Our team does a really good job with ensuring the feedback on those assessments is going to be something that will students can learn and grow from. So if they do get it incorrect, it's not just going to say incorrect. There's going to be ways that students can kind of learn from this and prepare them for additional assessments there. So you'll see a checkpoint assessment every 5 lessons. And again, these are meant really to support students and gauge how they're doing in those previous 5 lessons. In addition to that checkpoint assessment, you will also see assessments where students have to complete an activity, upload some authentic work. And this happens to be one here, Make Your Own Food worksheet, where students have the opportunity to complete this worksheet here. They have a variety of ways to complete the worksheet. So what you're seeing here is a way that the student can complete the worksheet digitally. So they have the option to kind of use the tools available to complete the worksheet digitally here. They also can go ahead and use the print this out. So there's an option at the very top of this where a student could have the PDF for this and go ahead and print that out on their own. Or we do have worksheet collections that are available. That's kind of a companion to the course where they can just fill those out as well. So a lot of options for how students complete that upload assessment. But for an upload assessment, after it's completed, students will then have to submit their work and kind of upload their file, set their link in here for the worksheet, and submit it to their teacher for their teacher to grade. So that is one of those items. And then finally, you will see at the very end of each module a mastery assess it. And those mastery assess it's are going to be more of that summative example where students can be, they're going to be tested on all of the standards, all of the standards from that module. So kind of that chapter test, if you will. The mastery assessments do have a short answers as well. So there's some short answer questions as well as some auto-graded questions as well. So that is kind of an example of our science course. I will navigate back out. So just to show you some of the parity that happens in our math courses as well. So let me just go back here to our landing page and we'll head into Mathematics 1. And again, you're going to see that similar design, course resources within and then those modules as well. And then if we go ahead and navigate down, you'll see too that we have that same sequence and that cadence of learning. So starting with the teach it's, the read it's, the watch it's, you will be able to see how we are presenting that content. So I'll hop into a read it here right now, just so you can see again that similar design. And that consistent design is very helpful for our students because they know what to expect when they enter into a Lincoln course right there. And then, with our math classes, as I mentioned, there is a wide variety of practice. So, we've got 2 videos here in this series, but you will also see play-its where they are going to be kind of playing with that content there and then practice it. So here we are, having a practice worksheet. So you're seeing a lot of opportunities for students to kind of review those skills that they have to do for this item. So there's a wide variety of things for students to kind of work on and in preparation for their exams. So you can see that wide variety. And these worksheets here, again, all can be completed right here within the learning object, or they're available for print in print. So there's a wide variety of ways. So I will stop here for our presentation and then open up to any questions that we might have.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to close out the recording and then we'll go ahead and move into Q&A.